The next thing we implement is a view to display an entire individual node. First, let's turn this node title into a link by wrapping the title in anchor tags. So open index blade view. This is the title. So here, let's just wrap it with anchor tags ahref. And here, close the a tag. The URL here will be the show route, right? So that is route nodes.show. And here we need to pass the second parameter. That is, we need to pass which node we are trying to show. Now, if you open the node controller and if you go to the show method, this accepts the entire node as the parameter. So here you can pass this node itself as the second argument. All right, let's save this, go to the browser, refresh, and let's add a class that on hover that shows an underline. So you can add a class, hover, underline. And now let me refresh, and this is better. All right, now let's click on the first node. All right, notice we are redirected to the URL with the node ID. Notice that we didn't have to explicitly provide the node ID here. We simply passed the entire node model. This concept in Laravel is called route model binding. We can inject models in various places conveniently using this. You can read more about this in the documentation. Now open the node controller. The show method is where we return the view that displays the specific node. We already have the node here. We can simply return a show view, return view nodes.show. We can either pass the node here as a second argument or you chain it using the with method. Let me use the second argument here. Node will be $node. Alright, but we shouldn't directly return the view. What if this node belongs to a different user? So if I randomly type the ID of another user here, I will be able to see that node if we don't check, right? So let's add a check here before we return the view. Let's check if node user ID, if that is not equal to the auth ID, that is the logged in user, then you should abort with an error. Abort 403. So that means it's forbidden. Sorry, the codes are not needed. Yeah, abort 403. So the user won't be able to access any other user's nodes. So if it's equal, then we return the view. So in our case, the simple if statement works, but once your application grows more complex, you may have a lot more such rules. Then you can use something called gates and policies to handle authorization. You can explore that on your own. Now let's create this view nodes.show. Go to resources, views, nodes, new, show.blade.php. Once again, this layout is similar to that of the index view. So let me copy all of that, paste it here. Remove the for else method and all of these, the unnecessary blocks. And here remove this link as well. Now remove the href. We don't need that. And then increase this size to maybe 4XL. And then remove the limit. We want to show the entire node text here. Increase the margin to probably MD4. And then remove the last updated timestamp. We will add that as well. Okay, now let's go back and refresh the browser. Great, we have the full node displayed here, but notice that the line breaks are not shown. To preserve the line breaks and any consecutive spaces, add this class whitespace prewrap to the paragraph. Whitespace prewrap. This is in Tailwind CSS. You can check the exact CSS rule for this. Okay, now let's check if this works. Great, now it works. Now at the top of the node, I'd like to add details of when the node was created and last updated. So go back and add a div here. Div with a class flex and a gap of 6 or something. And then add 2 paragraphs here. Let's say created and then say last changed or something. I'll make this bold. So strong. Sorry, not string, strong. This as well. And then maybe add some class to the paragraph, like, just to make it a little more grayed out. Opacity 70. I'll add the same class right here. And now here we'll pass the timestamp. So you can say note created at, and of course we need to use the div for humans to make this date readable. All right. So this would be within curly braces. And here, this would be updated at for humans. Okay. Open the browser. And yes, this looks perfect, except for a small space here. Looks like I missed it. Yeah, there you go. Let's refresh one last time. And this is great.